Hello there, it's Sean, and welcome to this week's training, the Complete Closer Formula. If you're watching this live with us right now, give me a hashtag live in the comments. If you're watching the replay, which most of you will be watching this as an evergreen training, the summary, the distillation, the essence of everything that I've done over the past 5 years. Closing full-time as a career, what has worked for me, what has worked for my students, I'm turning it all into this evergreen training. And if you're watching this as a recording, go ahead and type a hashtag replay in the comments. And I want you to share your story. Are you on your journey? Are you studying? Are you researching? Are you already working as a setter? Are you already working as a closer? Are you a business owner? Are you a coach? Okay, share your story with me. I know a lot of you come here to study, research, this section of YouTube. You're here to advance yourself, prepare yourself for the journey ahead. And don't treat this channel and my work as your secret weapon, because if you feel that the content that I've been putting out, if you feel that it benefits you, okay, then go ahead and give this channel a boost by helping out with the comments and contributing with your experience, your questions, your insights. And some of you, when you implement what I teach and you get results down the road, come back here and share what has worked for you as well, so that more closers. It's not easy to be a closer because there's so many options out there, and if you have the talent for this, that's great. And you know what is it like when you enter a new space, a new field, and you don't know what you don't know. It can be very overwhelming. So help fellow closers out. Okay, send them the resources here, share this training with them, okay, so that we can all make this space a better one for all of us. And while we're waiting for the rest of us to stream in, I'm going to take the time to share some beautiful messages that I've been receiving over the week. As of right now, it is still my birthday week, so the birthday wishes are still streaming in. I turned 34 this year, and I want to thank each and every single one of you who have left a comment, who have sent me a wish. And Siddharth left a long message in our Facebook group. You can find it at seansena.live. That's our private Facebook group. And he typed this long message, and I was really touched to see this. And thank you, Siddharth. Your incredibly helpful YouTube channel has been instrumental. Your dedication, your hard work, your humility, the insights, your humble nature, your remarkable achievements. Thank you for all your kind words. I'm still learning. I'm still practicing. I'm still, going through the grind. And at the end of the day, I'm just a dude behind my computer trying to do sales. So I believe that's all of us, right? And Day Kiss left a comment under my training from 2 weeks back, the complete script. He says, "You are so smooth. I see how you got your wife." Lol. Yep, that's exactly how I got my wife, by closing her. I sincerely believe if you take what I teach you today, you can do an inbound wife or husband application funnel. Get them on the phone, get them on a sales meeting, meet them up for coffee, and then you can close them to become your husband or wife, because that, my friend, is exactly what I did. And Christian shared with me that he is a coach, and he says that I'm different from my competitors, and I don't know how. He says you're going straight to the point without making promises. Yes, because I cannot promise anything. You notice I don't really say things like make 10K, make 100K, because it's attractive marketing, but the thing that you need to own, the things that you need to own up to, the things that you need to build, okay, that's the important thing. That's the thing that's going to guarantee the results. It's your commitment, it's you working hard, it's you working smart. And I can't really make any promises, right? I can say what I've done, I can say what my students have done, but I don't like to make this kind of promises because it attracts the wrong people. You notice in our space, even in the online space, even in the offline space, you notice that a theory teacher, they attract all the theory students, right? The motivational teacher, they attract all the motivational students. And being in this space for 5 years full time, I can tell you, theory is helpful, motivation is helpful, But to go the long run, okay, your foundations need to be strong. So if there's any guarantee that, if there's any promise that you want to make for yourself, invest in your foundation. Okay, pay your dues, put in your reps, go and role play. Okay, study, implement, challenge yourself, push yourself. Because it's easy to say, hey, come in and make 10K, and then the lifestyle, the habits, the sacrifice, the dedication, if it's not aligned, then the whole thing is not going to make sense. Okay, he says too many gurus are just focused on the money flow. It's a consequence. Yep. So okay, like attracts like. That is a universal law. So the people I want to attract, okay, are the ones with the silent power. Okay, you guys know who you are. Okay, you're studying my stuff. You I know some people come in, they don't comment, they don't engage, and then they just buy my course and they don't say a thing, and I don't even know who are they. And then 3 months later, they come and introduce themselves and say, hey, 3 months ago, 3 weeks ago, I bought your course, and now I'm in this team, and now I'm doing things. I'm like, oh wow, so you can actually take my stuff and then quietly study it. And I don't see any motivation, I don't see any loud noises, I don't see any camaraderie. It's like, I find that a lot of my students are just like me from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. So like attracts like. So if you are here, we might be from a different country, we might speak a different language, we might be a different gender, but we might be more alike than you think in terms of character, values, and mindset. Okay, so that's enough chit chat. Let's get started. Today is the complete closer training. If you're watching this, at some point you've seen my content and you understand, I would assume that you understand what we do. If not, I'm going to briefly cover that as well. And I need to share my story. Even if you have heard it several times, for those of you who are new here, I need to share my story, not because I want to talk about myself, but I need to give you the context. Okay, so you know that whatever I teach, okay, why I teach certain things. Why do I say certain things? Once you get the context, when you learn my stuff, it becomes so much easier to understand. And I also believe that a lot of the things that I experience, because like I said earlier, like attracts like, you're going to see a lot of similarities and parallels in my story and yours. Okay, so everything began 5 years ago. What was I doing 5 years ago? I owned a martial arts business. I teach Jeet Kune Do, and this is the gym that I rent, and then I teach my classes. And I have been doing that for 10 years. I do that as a profession. So I never really had a job. The only job I ever had was teaching for 8 months at a secondary school as an English substitute teacher. That's the only job I had. If not, I worked for 2 years while serving the Army, National Service here in Singapore, and that's it. The whole time, all I've ever had was my dearest martial arts business and a girlfriend that I had for 2 years. And that was my first girlfriend after being single for 26 years. So, and I was a competitive fencer as well. Went to many countries, travel, fence, eat, train. It was a very happy 10 years. And by the end of it, things changed. And I wasn't prepared for the change. And then the thing about changes is when it hits you and you're not prepared, it's very, very painful. So very quickly, in a span of a few weeks, I found myself losing everything. I had to close my gym business down, and my relationship with my then girlfriend ended. I wasn't mature enough, I wasn't stable enough. I wasn't ready for any of the success that I could have if I were to continue. And I had injuries all over my body, so I couldn't teach anymore, I couldn't fence, I couldn't coach, I couldn't compete anymore. And suddenly, overnight, I lost everything. And this was a message that I got in my hell year. Okay, I like to call it my hell year, which was in 2018, exactly before all of these started. And here it says that your account requires at least $500, and now you have zero, so we can't deduct anything. So if you still don't do anything, we're going to close this account. And in the end they did, because all I had was $12. I had a room, I had a computer, I had my phone, I had a Wi-Fi, I had $12, and I had enough supplies to last me 6 months. So I say this so that you know that the position that I was in is not like most people, where they are in a 9 to 5 and they have some kind of a salary, so they more or less feel somewhat comfortable. At least they don't have to worry about the next meal. But I had 6 months of supplies left, and I had $12, and the only thing I didn't have was a mic. And then I was like, if I'm gonna do this online thing, I need a microphone. And I found a mic for $10, and what you see here is my final $2. I didn't spend this the whole time. The only time I spent it was on a cup of coffee for $1.80, and then I was left with 20 cents. And miraculously, after that, after I let go of this $2, I closed my first sale. Okay, and that's a story that I will share in a while. But the whole time when I was in this hell year, and I was sitting in front of my room, where is my martial arts business that I used to have for so long? Where was my girlfriend? Where was my fencing? Where was my life? So I sat down in my room, and I was beat up, I was lonely, I was sad, I was confused, I was worried, I was lost, and I couldn't think of anything. When you're in that place, doesn't matter how strong you are physically, doesn't matter how strong you are mentally, it's like you cannot think. So I could only ask myself, why? And I really wanted to understand why. It's not like a kind of desperate why, or I lost my mind why. It's like, really, how did I get here? Why am I even here? So what I understood was, the whole time I was living in this fantasy world, and you see some closers have that mentality as well. Or at least at the time, I was living in this mentality that I have a martial arts business, right? I'm a small business owner. I'm supposed, I did my goals, I wrote my goals down, and ideally, I was supposed to be making $8,000 per month based on my estimates, based on my goals. But really, because they're supposed to. If you ask me, did I really deserve to? I really don't see any reason, because the me from 5 years ago, I didn't understand goal setting. I didn't understand marketing. I don't know how to do advertisements. I don't know how to run ads. I don't know how to run events. I don't know how to do sales. I don't know how to do lead generation. I don't know how to get people on calls. I don't know how to close for my own martial arts products and coaching and services. I felt very awkward and unconfident when I have to do sales for my own business. I don't know how to manage my finances. I don't know how to handle the operations of my business. I don't know how to do coaching, delivery, structure my offers. I don't know how to do the whole thing. I was a technician stuck in my own business. And if you think about it on hindsight, any business owner, or even a seller or closer, if any one of us have this kind of in this kind of situation, ideally we're supposed to make 8, 10, 12k. Ideally everybody wants that. But at that point, did I deserve to? I can't see any reason, because I don't understand any of this. So the only way that I could hit my goals is luck. That's all I can think of. But even then, I was earning $50 an hour, so I have to work really, really hard and be very, very lucky to even maintain my business, pay rent, utilities, and then have enough to eat. So the whole trajectory, actually, if you think about it, from even 6, 7, 8 years back, the warning signs were already there. I didn't do anything. I didn't react. I didn't respond. I didn't plan. So if you ask me, the only thing I deserve was really to get to this point so that I can wake up, so that I can have my wake-up call. Sometimes people tell us, the universe tell us, it's very hard to listen. It's only when we get the wake-up call and it's like, okay, now I have to change. Now I have to evolve. Now I have to take ownership. So I was forced in this position, which looking back, it's a blessing. And I tried different things. I tried dropshipping. I tried copywriting. And it didn't work, and it's not a technique issue, it's not a whatever issue. I just think that my heart wasn't there. I think that's the issue. And I realized something. When I closed for my copywriting offers, and in the end I put together some packages for my martial arts offers as well, and I met some of my prospects one-to-one. I took notes, I talked to them. I raised my rates, and I noticed that even though I didn't know sales at the time, I just took notes and I listened to them and I put together a proposal, and I didn't close them. I just sent them the proposal and they closed. They paid me my first wave of high ticket prices, and I was like, am I actually getting some progress in sales? Am I in my element? Because when I talk, I feel that it flows. When I listen, I feel that it flows. And when I sell, I didn't force. I just sent a proposal. I didn't say anything. And then they say they want to do it. So I didn't even know what objection handling, what framed the call, nothing. I just took notes and I listened and I state my case, and then they paid and they enjoyed the product. And that was it. Then I asked myself this question, like, what if I took this seriously and I got trained and I got experience? And if you don't know how this works, okay, so in the online world, in the remote high ticket sales space, we go to companies, okay, online or offline, doesn't matter, ideally online, with a high ticket offer, and we close them to close for them, and then we will bring leads, or they will give us leads onto our calendar, and on that time we'll meet the prospects, okay, and then we're going to sell them the offer, and in the process we get paid a commission. So it is sales. It has existed since the beginning of money and business and arbitrage. So it's just sales, right? Just now we're doing it online. So ideally, again, it is a simple setup. The expectation is it's an easy learning curve, it's not that complicated. I'm going to come in and I'm going to close, and then life will take care of itself. Right? Come in, couple of weeks, make couple of grand, and then problem solved. That's what a lot of people think, right? It's a very dangerous mentality. And some people, they get shocked when I say that. They say, what? I said, yes, this whole idea that you can come in and make couple of grand and, get out. It's why so many closers come in and they think they are closers, but they actually just prospects for the closer companies to keep selling them closer programs, because they think they're closers, but they never actually align themselves properly in terms of the expectations and the reality. Because I know, because my expectation is I'm going to come in, I'm going to be a six-figure closer, and the reality is this is me from 5 years ago, sitting in my room alone and crying, having panic attacks because it was just so overwhelming and I didn't know what to do. So the reality is that there are so many gaps. How do I find a qualified offer to close for? How do I successfully join the right sales teams? When I'm on interview, how do I sell myself? If it's high pressure, they ask for experience, they ask for this, they ask for that. How am I gonna, beat the rest of the competition and get in? When I'm in, how do I secure a consistent lead flow with high quality prospects? And then how do I confidently and consistently close? If I'm in a sales leadership position, how can I have the confidence? How can I have the know-how to build teams, lead teams, and actually do this as a career, rather than some part-time dabbler want to make fast money and then flung the whole thing. So there needs to be a way, right? So I didn't know at the time. 5 years ago compared to now, there weren't all these closer programs. There weren't even. I don't think I saw appointment setting 5 years ago. Maybe there was like a set caller or something, a triage caller, but back then there weren't all these closer programs, there weren't like guaranteed placements, there weren't all these like big happy campfire Zoom meetings. It's just me alone in my room and I'm like, what am I going to do, right? So the first thing I did, and this is very important, is to design your environment. Okay, so I make sure that my space was clean, that I won't get disturbed, that I can block off any unnecessary sound or noise, that my space won't be intruded. And because I'm in Singapore, like even right now I'm still in Singapore. I travel, but I'm based in Singapore. I'm not based in the US or UK or Canada, so my time zone is the opposite. So what I do, I block out my curtains so that I can sleep throughout the day and work. And in this case, I cry throughout the night. Okay, but then you cry. Eventually, you still gotta get things done. So I was like, okay, now I'm sober. I have 6 months of supply. What's the plan? So you can't really see my handwriting, but basically I wrote down a step-by-step plan, which I don't even know if I didn't even knew if I could fulfill it. But I just wrote down and say, okay, I got 6 months. By the end of this year, which is in exactly about 6 months, I'm gonna make my first 10K month. Okay, I don't know how, but that's where I'm going, because there's no other alternative. I've already failed with dropshipping. I've already failed with copywriting. Injuries all over me. I can't really move around. Okay, so my mentality was I was all in. If there's one thing that separates me from everyone else is I didn't have a transition strategy because I never had a job. I was all in and that's it. Okay, so I cleaned up my look, got some nice clothes. I put my best foot forward. Okay, and with the resources that I have, I called myself the strategic closer, and I didn't even know what that meant. Today you can see a lot of different kind of names and the kind of all that talk about personal branding. At the time, I didn't even knew that this was personal branding. I just say, okay, I'm gonna look like someone that closes high ticket, so I gotta look the part and I gotta put my best side forward. And you gotta understand that what you're seeing right now is the exact photo of me in 2018. It's me at a much younger time. And this was me with no experience. I somehow have this ability to make a very serious face, to look like I have experience. But at this point, I had not even done a single role play. Even a role play, I haven't even done. Okay. And then I went on social media and say, I gotta continue looking the part. I make videos and I don't even know what to talk about. I talk about mindset, talk about spiritual stuff, talk about my story. Okay, I clean up my social media accounts, and if you go to, like for example, my Instagram at Maestro Closer, if you scroll all the way down, that's exactly what you'll see. You see the timeline. The timeline doesn't lie, right? You can scroll all the way down to 2018, and you can see all my work. When I was green, when I had no experience, when I was just building myself up, you can see the whole thing because it's all there. All my work is all there. It's all over the internet. Okay, anyone can go see it. And here's the thing. When I did all this, I was just throwing stuff at the wall because there's no one to guide me. At the time, no one teach personal branding for closers. No one teach appointment setting for closers. No one teach a closer how to be complete. It's just me. I buy some online course and then I'm like, oh my god, what am I going to do? How do I get clients? So I was like trying to do anything possible and then to see what sticks. And well, guess what? I think even though I had no experience, and I was very transparent when I had 2 weeks of experience, I said I had 2 weeks of experience. When I had 2 months, I said I had 2 months. So even then, people started coming to me. And you know, these are not C-grade business owners. These are not even, I wouldn't say, they're not even B-grade influencers. These are people who teach marketing and sales. So their marketing and sales systems are very dialed. In fact, most of the things that you see me doing in my business today, I learned from them because I was in the team. I had access to their programs. I saw how they conducted their coaching sessions. I learn every day because I'm with them all the time. So I talk their language. I got to know what I'm selling. So over time, I can do my own business now because I know how to do it. So these guys, I would consider at least A-, except for Mark. Mark was still quite new at the time. Now this is Saba, this is Carl. And they came inbound. And then they said, I want you. And I was like, you see here what I say? I say, I have been a closer for 2 months. What's his reply? He didn't say, oh, we're looking for people with experience, right? He said, good stuff. We are looking to expand our sales team. And then I got in, he recruited me. I went through some interviews and tests and then he chose me. So a lot of these opportunities that I got, I didn't have experience. So you cannot tell me that I have fear, I have no experience, so I can't do what you do. If you are based in the US or the UK or Canada, if English is your first language, if you have some kind of professional 9 to 5 corporate experience, all of these things I don't have as my natural advantage. If you have these 3 things, you're already ahead of me. If I'm not afraid, what are you afraid of? At most, Sabah just blocked me on Facebook. At most, Carl just fired me from the team. And then what? I just go again, right? So don't trap yourself in a corner by doubting yourself, by overthinking. Just do. You just go in. Okay, you just go and do it. Because once you wait, I've seen closers, they wait for 5 years. There are a lot of people that started with me today, they're still thinking, should I send that video? They think for 5 years, today they're still thinking. Do you believe that? Okay, so don't wait. Okay, so all these are examples of influencers, established A-grade influencers coming inbound to ask me to join them and close for them. And at the time, I just thought that that's the trend. I didn't know what I was doing right. Then I realized that a lot of people were stuck. A lot of people had no opportunity. I was like, why? I'm getting all these opportunities. And a lot of us were from the same course. We start at the same time. And then why is it they stuck? So looking back, now I realize what I was doing right and what they were not doing. And so I put them together, okay, into the core pillars that I'm going to share with you today. So when you join these teams, so when I joined these teams, a lot of the things that I teach today, I didn't learn from theory, from motivation. I learned on the job because they mentored me on the job. I had to learn from them and they needed me to perform. So a lot of these things, they would coach me, review, coach me, review, coach me, review. So very quickly, I started to get results and I closed and I built a sales team of more than 20 full-time closers. We traveled the world together. We attended events. While we were traveling, we closed sales. It was a great time. And for the first time in my life, I went to Canada. And for the first time in my life, you've got to understand, in Singapore, it's hot all year round. So for the first time in my life, I got to see snow and touch snow. And I told my friends, I never seen snow before. And they said, what? You never seen snow before? I said, yeah. Is snow this ice thing? And they said, yes, Sean, the snow is this ice thing. I thought, whoa. And they showed me how to make a snowman, but it was cold as hell. Okay, I almost died. I almost died in one of these photos here, but that's a story for another day. I got to take a photo with one of my role models, Mr. Bob Proctor. I'm very fortunate to have this photo with him before he passed away, a couple of years after that. And at the end of the day, I managed to get back to martial arts, fencing, and this was the day I went to my cupboard, and for 5 years, I know it's not very hygienic, but for 5 years, I didn't touch my gear. And I thought I couldn't fit inside again, but this one night, this was the night I felt that my finances had stabilized. I felt that, okay, I was ready to face some of the things that I avoided in the past. I was like, okay, I'm ready to fence again. So you might think that, hey Sean, you spend all this time telling me your story. Why? Okay, because this is my story of redemption. What I thought I could never do again, what I thought I had to give up, what I thought I had already given up, I could text by text, call by call, sale by sale, prospect after prospect, company after company, mile after mile, year after year. I sit down behind my computer like right now, I put in the work, I discipline myself, and I can finally say that there's no regrets, Everything that I didn't do right at the start, I managed to right. So there must be some things in your life that you want to do right because you come to closing. I don't know what is it. It could be a personal thing, a professional thing, a health thing, a family thing. I don't know what is it, but we're all here for a reason. So the skills and techniques you can learn, experience you can build. But if you don't understand this alignment of, hey, why am I here? Why do you think I can survive 5 years of closing full time? This space will test you hard. Okay, so if you don't know why you're here, you won't last very long. You know what I'm saying? So in the end, with what I'm able to earn, and this my parents right here, my wife, and there's a birthday photo that we took earlier today. To achieve all these things, that's what closing has given me. So this is the meaning and the drive and the purpose that closing gives to me. And I hope that you can find something similar for yourself, because a lot of closers come in and they want to make sales fast and then they just suddenly disappear. I don't know if you've seen this in your friends or your peers, like they just suddenly disappear. And some of them are even doing well. They do well, they close, and then they disappear. Okay, why? Because they don't understand themselves. They were never ready for this. So I hope that this entire story that I share for you, you don't feel that it's about me, but I hope that you can see yourself in my story and use it as some kind of a, some kind of a guide or inspiration for you, okay? So now we're going to get into the how, because you're going to say, yeah, I know, great story and all that. How do I do it? Okay. So the main thing that you're going to have to take away after today is the curve. And it doesn't matter how motivated you are at the start. It doesn't matter how high your energy is at the start. You see a lot of closers come in every season. They overdose on caffeine and they go into all the groups and they go into all the posts and they post, comment, and then 3 months later, you don't hear from them ever again. This is a long game, this is a career, this is a business. Okay, your sales and marketing skills, you're gonna carry with you for life. Anything you want to sell, everything is online now. Even if you go back to a job, you want to sell yourself, you want to convince your boss, you want to lead your team, you want to talk to your clients. The whole thing is all marketing, sales, and self-belief. So you cannot change industry, you cannot change jobs if at the end of the day these fundamental skills, like if I didn't learn my lessons from my martial arts business days, the same thing will repeat for me today. You know what I'm saying? So the main thing is the curve. Okay, and here's what it looks like. Okay, at first you learn, you experience some small wins at the start, right? And you go high, and most of us crash right here. Okay, and why is that? So what you don't know is, and what gurus cannot teach because they don't walk this path, is that this red circle right here, this is the hell year that I was talking about. It happened for me. It might have already happened for you. It might be happening right now, or you may have already experienced it. Okay, and this is not one circle. This is a loop. So if you're not careful, like I said earlier, there are closers I know that started with me even earlier than me. Today, they're still looping inside the darkness. Cannot find opportunity, go back to a job, come back to closing, cannot find opportunity, go back to a job, cannot find opportunity, go back to closing, loop, and then 5 years pass. If they still don't fix it, it's another 5 years. Now why does this happen? They first they do what we all did, right? They invest in impractical theory. It looks great on the outside, and then they buy and they realize, oh, how do I implement? I don't know. So they do what everyone is doing, commenting, making generic posts. You see a lot of these on your feed, on social media. So they can't navigate upwards out of this curve. So they can't get opportunities, which means they can't get experience points, which means that they can't build substance. So there's no results. So they go back to a job, and then they try and do this, and then they loop, and they loop, and they loop in the darkness. Okay. If I can be funny for a moment, this is me in my wedding attire. I had sent my flying pigeons and I wrote the word interested, sent it out to several kings and queens, and why no reply? Okay, is this surprising? So by the time this happens, a lot of your fundamentals have to be dialed. Okay, and is this great where you have an influencer that communicates with you, an influencer that updates you, an influencer that sends you quality leads, and you have a calendar that's full, and then you close. So this is the dream, right? Anyone can sell you the dream. I don't want to sell you the dream, and I don't want you to sell anyone dreams either. But that's the problem. When you sell dreams, that's what it is, a dream. I want to sell you the curve, because the curve is the reality. Once you close this video, you're faced with the curve again. You can go to your distractions, you can go to your job, If you want to make money from closing, you have to move up the curve. There's no way up the curve. You cannot keep buying theory programs and buying theory programs and then buying guarantees. Did you actually move up the curve? Okay, then your next question is, what is the curve? Okay, the first thing in the curve, I would say for myself, especially for my students, confidence. And not just any type of confidence. Okay, this is what I call closer confidence. Okay, what do I mean when I say closer confidence? Okay, don't worry about the how. Okay, the how, I have it all documented in my free stuff, in my paid stuff. You don't have a how problem. You don't have a how problem at all. Any how question, any what question, what should I say if you say this? How should I do to prepare for this? Any how or what question, I've already got it covered, documented. My students have probably already asked it before. I have probably encountered it before. So there's no solution that I cannot teach you. You don't have a how problem. You just need to go into your members area, pull it out, clarify with me, go and implement, and you're on to the next experience points. So put the how stuff aside. Okay, you got to really ask yourself, go back to the why. Okay, you're going to move up this learning curve, and it's not going to happen in 6 weeks. You know what I mean? Being honest with ourselves is key here. I look at your foundations, and then you're going to say, what do you mean foundations? I look at your environment. A lot of closers don't have they don't create proper environments to facilitate this remote career. And sometimes it is a form of self-sabotage. I look at your Google Calendar. All I need to do is to pull it out. I can already see your paradigm. One look. That's why some closers don't want to share their calendar with me, because they know once they show me, we both know what's up. The alignment, the commitment isn't there. So if the commitment isn't there, the consistency won't be there. Can we achieve anything without consistency? You keep buying programs, but your foundations, your environment, your schedule, time to wake up and do the thing, you don't wake up and do the thing, then there's no consistency. So how can you buy results? Okay, don't fool yourself. You can invest in yourself to upgrade. You can invest in yourself to learn. But if your foundation is not there, time to do the work you don't do, don't join this space. Because this space, there's no boss, there's no one to babysit you, there's no one to tell you, hey, wake up, role play. No one tells me that, you know. No one will say, Sean, wake up, role play. You didn't role play enough, role play again. You make a mistake. What are 3 things you should improve? What are 3 things you've done well? What are 3 action steps you're going to take? Have you connected with companies today? Sean? What did you do right? What did you do wrong? How many interviews you booked today? How many hours you studied today? Why you keep getting distracted by videos and other distraction? No one tells me these things. I'm on my own. You on your own. So you keep buying. This is what I mean by foundation. So am I clear about what a foundation is? Clear? Type a clear in the chat. This is where your confidence comes from, because you know that you're there. You know that you have it. Okay, so to be more specific, and I covered this in my closer confidence training. I have a specific training for this itself, so I'm not going to go too deep into this. But to be fully prepared, okay, your role play, and then if you're in a team, your sales pitch, knowing your offer, knowing how to present the offer, okay, mastering your environment, your schedule, and if it gets down to it, it's your belief. The belief governs everything. Okay, so I had a student, his name was Broderick. Okay, he didn't really learn the selling or closing stuff. He went straight, I think mindset was what he really wanted, so he went straight into my closer confidence program. And his first month, because he already had some skills from physical sales. So his first month in online sales, he just needed the mindset, the confidence. He almost hit 10K his first month. Okay, his final cash collected, 7,700 every week he closed. So by the end of the month, 7,700 USD. I have an interview with him on my YouTube channel, so you can check the thumbnail. I'm not going to play it now. Okay, you can find it on my channel under testimonials and watch Broderick's story. The next thing, to get opportunities itself, everything centers upon your brand. Okay, and this is what I call your unique closer brand. Okay, the unique closer brand. So in the learning curve, once you have established the inner confidence, it's time to build the external confidence. So what's the problem here? Because now there are like 50,000, I don't know how many closers in the space. You just go to LinkedIn, you search high ticket closer, you see a ton of them. And a lot of us look the same, we sound the same, we write the same things, we post generic content. Okay, we say, oh, sales is great, today this happened, the prospect said this, I said this, and then they all look the same. So there's no unique X factor. And people are not confident in bringing out their unique X factor. And they're all talking about theory instead of action. They're talking about words instead of results. So the energy is high and the substance is low. The quantity is high, but the quality is low. And above all, a lot of closers in their brand, they're focused on themselves. Like how I win, what I do, what's relevant to me. They're not focused on what's in it for the business owners that they are going to be working with. Does that make sense? So if you're like, so how do you do it? How do you get so many inbound qualified opportunities without having to chase, without having to comment? Okay, go to my closer account. You see Sean Lim. Okay, it's at sena.live/strategic closer. Okay, and you'll find my closer. And you can just see how I do it. Okay, you can find my maestro closer on Instagram and scroll all the way down. You can see even when I had no experience, I could still demonstrate substance to trigger what? Influencer attraction. The whole purpose of a brand. A lot of people say, oh, I have a brand just to have a brand. Just to say I have a brand. Okay, that's quite pointless. The purpose of a brand, write this down, is to trigger influencer attraction. What is influencer attraction? Something like this. Okay, when you have no experience, they still insist on getting you. Okay, when you're green, when you're new, they still treat you with respect. Okay, you already tell them, and you're not playing games, you're not redirecting them or whatever, you're just talking normally. They actually reply. They reply fast. They reply with respect. They treasure this relationship. They make you feel respected, treasured, comfortable as a human being. Not some closer that like, hey, you hit the KPIs, if not, I kick you out. No, I never have that kind of relationship with my influencer. Why? Because of my brand. They respect the substance and the reputation and the results from that brand. And you might say, but oh, right now I got no results. Okay, all these times that you see, I have no results. When you have no results, the only thing that you can give is your attitude, your character, and how you show up. And if you ask me, these three things are way more important than skills and experience. Why? Because skills and experience you can train. A character, how you show up, your work ethic, it's very hard to train. You either have it or you don't. Make sense? So this is Daniel, and when he first came to me, he bought my birthday bundle from last year, and he said, I was a bit skeptical in the beginning, but then after I talked to Sean, I got the birthday bundle, and it changed how I think. It gave me a direction. It gave me a step-by-step. And this happens all the time. Like sometimes people buy my bundle, and I don't even know who they are. It's just like an email. And then they disappear for 3 weeks, 3 months. And then suddenly they come back and say, hey, I bought your bundle 3 weeks, 3 months ago, and now I'm in this team, and I got this result. I'm like, wow, that's a great testimonial for me. So you mean to say you took my stuff. You bought my stuff, you didn't even tell me, and you just quietly implement. A lot of my students are like me from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. So he got into a great team, and then he closed his first 25k USD. And you know this guy, he's from Malaysia. He used to have a lot of limiting beliefs on my accent. I can't close high ticket. I can't speak well. I got no confidence. One by one, we busted it together. So I'm not surprised that he closed a 25k offer. I know that he can close even more. I already know it from the start, because I have students that have all these limitations, myself included. That's why I believe. Okay, now you know why I always say that theory gurus and all that is great, but deep down, you either create belief or you need to find something that can give you that belief. So once you can brand, you can get opportunities. You are in the team, you cannot depend on them. Okay, if they give you leads, that's great. But if they don't, you need to learn what I call the art of convo closing. What is convo closing? You know what a one-dimensional closer is? It's when the company run ads, straight away they do a sales call, and then you're like, I only want sales calls from your paid ads who are warm, fully nurtured, and the marketing has already done all the heavy lifting. I just want to come in for the final round and do the KO and collect my paycheck. How ideal is this for a long-term career? If you're a company, would you hire this person who comes in and closes the sale, or will you hire someone who at every stage of the sales process, right from the beginning when that person is not even a lead, to becoming a lead, to becoming an educated lead, to becoming a nurtured lead, to becoming a ready to buy prospect, who would you hire? Someone with that complete skill set, or someone that says, no, you nurture, you run the ads, you educate them, you qualify them. I only want to come in and collect the yes. Who would you hire if you were a business owner yourself? Who would have a longer career with your company? So you tell me. Okay? I think a lot of the students that I attract are like me. So I think you know your answer. And why did I even think about this? Because leads are everywhere. Oh my god, okay? Don't pitch me, because I don't want you to be one of those closers that never get experience and you just complete a closer program, and the first program you sell, guess what? It's a closer program. Don't do that. Go close for dating coaches, fitness coaches, mindset coaches, personal development, marketing, agencies, B2B, solar panels. You can even sell in your country, okay? Get that experience. Then you go sell a closer program, okay? Otherwise, how you convince people that you are doing what, okay, never mind. So leads are everywhere. Because I want to say in my business, and don't pitch me, okay, don't go find your own opportunities. So many leads in my Facebook, my Instagram, my email, my TikTok, my LinkedIn, my everywhere. And I'm not engaging them because there's just too many of them. Okay, and this is not even my main thing. My main thing is still closing. So every single touch point, where do they converge? If you are a salesperson, where do they converge? If you ask me, I want to sweep up all the touch points. I want to have conversations with all of them, because why? I'm a closer. If I can't get a prospect, if I can't close someone to have a meeting, a conversation, a call with me, am I a closer? You go think about it yourself, and then you might have a range of offers, from free offers, 197, 997, 7K, 5 figures, even 6 figures. You need to have this range of offers and this range of touch points so that you can always be what? Self-sufficient. Type in the chat. Self-sufficient, which means that regardless of whether a company gives you leads or not, you always have your own full calendar. Okay, and the way that you talk to these leads, okay, I cover this in my Convo Closer training. They all go through a similar process. Okay, and I'm not going to go too deep into this. I address this in my Convo Closer training in detail. But as long as you can take them from conversation to booking calls to close. Okay, that's what I did for myself, okay, in every team that I joined, and that's what I taught Coley as well. So Coley is another one of my students. So when she first joined my mentorship, we sat down and I was like, okay, what's the goal? Because I set goals for myself, right? I sat down and I planned. So I asked her the same thing. Where are we going? What's the goal? She said, I'm currently based in Hong Kong, but I was from Australia, and my goal is to make 30K so that I can migrate back to Australia and be with my family. Her family is still in Australia by the end of this year. So we sat down and then we worked together. I taught her everything I know, and she close. Okay, I review her calls, I coach her week after week. By the end of the year, we did not hit her goals. Her goal was 30K. We only hit 20K collected. But that's 2/3. How's that for goal setting? You aim high, you hit here. We missed the target, but hey, what would an additional 20K do for you? You tell me. So I was quite happy with our results, and the fourth thing I'll share with you is strategic closing, because in the end, when they get on calls with you, you still have to do your thing and close, not forcefully, not passively, not with like throw a bunch of techniques at them and make them feel like, you know, you're some smart guy who knows everything. But it's to really think of what is the best thing to do in that particular context. That's why I call it strategy. And regardless of what the call is, every prospect goes through the same flow. Do I believe that I have a problem that I need to solve now? That's problem aware. Do I know and trust your unique and proven process? If not, I'm going to go to someone else. And do I believe that it's your solution that I want and I want it now? Minus any of these things, you're not getting a sale. So anytime you get a rejection, don't ask like, hey, what's the objection I missed? You know, don't say, hey, what should I say? You ask yourself, you go to the root of the conversation. Is the prospect actually problem aware? Are they sold on the problem? Are they sold on your process? Are they sold on your offer? If you can't answer this question, it doesn't matter what you say, because a lot of people will say, hey, money objection, time objection, and then the sales coach will just say, oh, sales is easy, we just complicate things. If they say this, you say that. If they say that, you say this. You can say anything you want at the end of the day. I'm looking at the prospect's mind, because if they're not sold on these three things, it doesn't matter what you say, you're just going to make things worse. Does that make sense? Okay, so there's a difference between what the seller is thinking, which, for example, now I'm selling my offer, right? I'm selling closer confidence, closer brand, convo closer, strategic closing. That's my seller's process. But if a closer comes to buy these offers from me, they are not thinking of what I want to sell. You know, they are thinking that based on this timeline, I have income problems, you know, I don't have good opportunities, I'm making sales but there are not enough calls, I'm making sales but it's not consistent, I don't know how to navigate. So these are the words they say. So you got to ask yourself, as a strategic closer, does the whole conversation make sense? Are you matching it correctly? Because if they say all these things like, I'm going through this, you know, I need support, I need guidance, I'm under an income ceiling, I'm burned out, I'm overwhelmed, I need accountability, okay, and what you're selling is paradigm, is branding, it's check closing, it's sales call, okay, it's my 3K challenge, it's my 10K milestone. Does it match? That's my point. You can replace this with the offer that you're currently selling, it doesn't matter, but it has to match. Okay, so in my strategic closing program, I break down every single phase. So I hope you see by now that, and I'm going to walk you through exactly what the modules contain. I hope you see by now that based on the formula that I'm showing you, you don't have a how problem. Okay, whatever that you want to know and learn is already documented in my free and paid programs. I just need to point you in the right direction. You take the responsibility to go in, pull it out. It's already organized. Just pull it out. Practice, implement, record yourself, get on actual calls, test yourself. Okay, that's how you move up the learning curve. There is no other way. If you keep buy, but you don't practice, you don't implement, okay, you will not move up the learning curve. Okay, so even the core principles, belief, urgency, trust, competition, okay, the committed decision, all these things, okay, I covered inside my strategic closing program, which I'm going to show in a moment. And that's what I walk Elaine through as well. Elaine's one of my students. You got to understand the context here. Okay, when Elaine first came to me, her whole face was red, and I couldn't tell if it was naturally red or she was crying or what, and turns out she was crying. Why? Because she had just invested a lot of money onto those diluted theory programs, and then she was like, what do I do now? You know, I've spent all my money and I'm unable to make it work. That's why she was crying. I was like, okay, relax. Let's do the same thing we did for Coley, for Broderick, for Daniel. Let's sit down. What's the goal here? Okay, let's train. And you're going to understand, her English was not very good. But once she moved up the learning curve, okay, in the beginning, not easy, because she had to train, make mistakes, cry again. Train, make mistakes, cry again. So many times she cried. Okay, then suddenly, a magic happens. Close. 3 times 10K. 10K, she closed 3. Okay, for aesthetic medicine offer. This is in USD. Okay, she close, and then the income started to stabilize. Okay, and then she paid up all her debt, and then she collect 23K USD in cash in that time working with me. Okay, and by the time she graduated from my program, she already crossed 50K in cash collected. This is cash collected in total during her time with me. She's already graduated. You can still see her English is not very good. Okay, so a lot of these things is sticking to the principles. So what's my point here? My point is, if you don't see the curve for what it is, the maze will always be a maze. And you look at your progress and results from the last few months. Okay, if you don't feel like it's going anyway, ask yourself, am I moving up? Am I actually moving up the curve? Or am I stuck in a maze? Okay, because you look at the red line here, okay, this is what the red line is. If you are able to build your inner fire, okay, your closer confidence, you express that up in a brand. And anytime you need calls, you know how to book calls. Anytime you're on a call, you know how to navigate through the calls. You know what you are? You are a complete closer. Okay, so to recap, closer confidence, unique closer brand, convo closer, strategic closing. Ask yourself this question. If you have all these skills and principles in you, not as a program in your download folder, but in you, will you come out of the maze? Will you exit the darkness? Will you feel complete? I felt complete. I felt complete after 4.5 months. I took 4.5 months. And you're going to understand, this is me doing it without guidance. I was all on my own. I had my influencers to train and coach me on some stuff. But a lot of this is me figuring this out on my own. And my schedule, okay, every day packed with calls. Every day packed with calls. Even on Good Friday, also packed with calls. The only reason I was able to navigate through the curve, okay, was at least I had my influencers, my business owners to mentor me. And I learned from them one-to-one. So if you have been following my work and you've been consuming my program and it's mostly my free stuff, and you're like, Sean, I want your best thing. You know, there was once I got on a call with a lady and then I told her, hey, I got this free stuff, and she was like, Sean, what are you doing? Sell me your best thing. I want your best thing, okay? It's a one-to-one coaching. So if you want my highest level offer, my personal time, my complete dedication to helping you navigate out of this maze so that you can have the closing career you want, here's the link to an intake form. Okay, fill up the application form. It's sena.live/intake. That's sena.live/intake. You might find a link somewhere around this video. Fill up the form, and then if it's a fit, I will be connecting with you shortly. Okay, but if you're like Sean, I want a more low risk way to understand these principles that you've shared with me. Becoming a complete closer, closer confidence, unique closer brand, convo closer, strategic closing. I want to take some time to go deep and study these resources and internalize them with a low risk, with some access to you. So whenever I have a question, I can text you, and then if I can even have a one-to-one call with you, like what do you have? Okay, so here's my birthday offer for you. It's my birthday offer for this year. Okay, for $497, I usually sell this at $997, but for $497, okay, and I'm only going to allow this until I hit capacity. If you see the price go back to $997, it means I'm already at capacity. Okay, a lot of people are going to start grabbing this, especially during my birthday week, and even a month after that. $497, you're going to have access to all these programs that I talk about, and I'm going to walk you them. I'm going to show you the preview in a bit. We're going to do one-to-one laser coaching call. That's our one-to-one time together. One session. We're going to talk goals, like what I did for Coley and Elaine. We're going to talk strategy. We're going to do up your Google Calendar. We're going to do up your unique closer brand. We're going to set the stage for the months to come. Okay, so that you build this career. No more wasting time. No more lurking around in Facebook groups. No more buying theory programs. You want to be a closer, you learn from a closer. Okay, and then after that, I know you still need support. So for 30 days, you have direct private Telegram access to me. You have a question, voice message. You need me to go through something, you text. You don't know how to navigate through the members area, you text. Anything, I can voice message you, I can send you a video. I don't send you theory. I send you insight. I send you strategies. I send you demonstration. I send you proof, so that you can make it your own, so you become self-sufficient and never have to rely on anyone ever again. So I'm going to do a quick walkthrough of what's inside the bundle. This is the complete closer members area. As you can see, everything is documented, okay, and it's in the right sequence for you to build this career. Anything else that you need as bonuses or extra training is all in this section here. Unique closer brand, convo closer, strategic closing, closer confidence. Okay, this is the strategic setting module. It teaches you how to book your own calls. This is the strategic closing program. Okay, everything is broken down into specific stages. Okay, so that you don't have a how or what problem. This is the program that Broderick took. Okay, the one that closed 7,700 cash collected his first month. Okay, he really needed the confidence. He already had the skills. Okay, this is the inner fire program that he took. This is the unique closer brand training. Okay, and it's not theory. Okay, all the things that I've done, the things that I send to companies, the way they test me, you know, the stuff I do in the team, it's all documented. This convo closer. Okay, all the stages. This closer confidence. Okay, and then this is the sales page. So you go to seansena.com/bundle. That's seansena.com/bundle, and you scroll all the way down. Okay, click on the green box for $497. Okay, before it goes back up to $997. Okay, read through the sales page and see all the testimonials, and then whenever you're ready, fill up the form and then send me a text. Say, hey Sean, I've bought your bundle and I'm ready to move forward. Okay, what should I do next? Okay, this is Martine, Andrew, Wesker, Amanda. Okay, they've all went through the same program. Okay, and they've all gotten results. They are silent workers with silent power like you. So you know exactly who you are. Head over to seansena.com/bundle and get the bundle, and then I will see you inside the program. So this was the complete closer training. I hope that by now you have a firm understanding of, if I want to play this game, okay, if I want to excel in this career, okay, this is where my focus should go. The time, the money, the effort and energy is still going to pass. Okay, that is not important. What's important is that it all gets channeled in a straight line. Because if we keep going in circles, okay, I'm glad that I started 5 years ago. Because today, I can have the freedom and the comfort that I earned from the sacrifice, the discipline, and the discomfort from 5 years ago. So today, when I can pursue my passions, when I can be present, when I can provide for my family, I'm so happy. You know, I have no regrets. And you know what's the most important thing? I feel complete. And to me, that is what being a complete closer means. If you have your own definition of what a complete closer is, feel free to put it in the comments below or send it my way. If you have any questions about closing, setting, if you are a business owner, you are a coach, and you have any questions about any of my programs, my coaching, my mentorship, or my offer, even if it's a free resource that you want, okay, I can send it your way. Just reach out on social media, say, hey Sean, I've seen your complete closer training, I have a question, I need something, okay, and just text me. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you had a great session watching this training. And as always, any comments, questions, feedback, send them my way. It is Sean Sena. This is the complete closer training. And I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.